Good Tuesday evening, Tallahassee. This is student meteorologist Evan O'Regan. Welcome into the Tuesday show of FSU Weather. Let's get you caught up on what you can expect this Tuesday. You can actually see over Del Camo Stadium, there are some darker clouds out there, which is actually a change than what we're used to. So we're actually going to have a cold front sweep through our area tonight, and this is the beginning of that change that we're going to see around here. But still sitting at 75 degrees, that we are partly to mostly cloudy out there, and we are having that south-southeasterly breeze bringing some more moisture into our area, so it is more humid today than it has been. But right now we're sitting in the upper 70s in most locations. Some areas are sitting in the lower 80s, so there are some exceptions, but relatively warm for this time of the day. And like I said, it is more humid out there, so make sure you have a way of getting that hair nice and put together before you head outside, because you will need that tonight. But we are seeing those thunderstorms later on overnight tonight and into the early morning hours, going down to 65 on that thermometer. And that, again, that will be around the Tallahassee area tonight. We're checking rain in the northeast, and we're going to take a trip out west to the Mile High City. All that and more on FSU Weather.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm student meteorologist Genevieve Rejak. So Evan mentioned some thunderstorms, and I know that's a little bit crazy, seeming as in the past week we had some chilly temperatures, but not much rain, not any rain that I remember. That's going to change. So overnight into the early morning hours and also tomorrow, I would advise to keep an umbrella on you because it could rain. That rain is going to continue nationally, which we'll see later on the show, and even more rain is going to continue where? In the tropics. We cannot forget about the tropics just yet. I know it's quite late into hurricane season, but we have 3 areas to watch, so we'll have some tips later on the show to make sure that your home is prepared this late in the season for any tropical activity that is going to occur. But tomorrow, make sure you have your umbrella handy, rain jacket. Overall, it's going to be pretty nice conditions aside from the rain, so we'll probably get into the 70s, and earlier in the morning it'll be quite chilly. But for now, we're going to pass things off to Jessica at the wall, where she's going to give us a little bit of a local look.
Hi everyone, it is super exciting to finally join the show. I'm really glad to give you this local forecast. So right now, if we are looking at Del Camo Stadium, it is pretty cloudy, like way different from what it usually is because of that cold front coming through. And if you look currently at the conditions, it is at a 75 degrees, pretty decent, but partly cloudy skies from a south-southeast wind of 9 miles per hour. So with the temperature almanac right now, nothing really much to know. It's pretty average temperatures. Luckily, it's not that super cold freezing temperature of 32 degrees. Luckily, no record breaks right now. So going with the current temperatures, it is pretty warm outside. You have like the upper 70s, a few places where it is in the 80s, and you're going to feel like some of that moisture, some of that humidity due to the really high dew point temperatures. So if you're trying to do like a run around the evening, may not feel the best due to those muggy conditions. So if you're looking at the local radar, you can see there isn't too much around Tallahassee, but there is some stuff around southern Georgia and southern Alabama, and we're going to get some of that rain coming in a little bit tomorrow morning. Looking at the local temperatures for this evening, the lows are going to be still pretty decent, more like sweater weather at the upper 60s, some places in the lower 70s such as St. Mark's. And tomorrow with the high temperatures, it's going to be about the same as today. You're going to see temperatures in the upper 70s, but a few select places in the lower 80s. So for the future radar, as you can see over here, you have that cold front coming through, which is going to bring those scattered showers across the Big Bend. So just make sure to bring a rain jacket with you and an umbrella for tomorrow. With the marine forecast right now, it is a really good day to go on the beach. Even though it is fall right now, it's still going to be pretty enjoyable, but also make sure to bring that sunscreen. At the FSU Rescast, right now, you see that calm before the storm with those clouds, so just be a little bit careful for tomorrow. At the hourly forecast right now, it is going to be pretty warm for tomorrow afternoon in the 70s. And going with the 7-day forecast, is going to be a bit of rain within Wednesday, about 50% chance, and it is going to clear a bit up at least for Thursday and Friday. But at least when it comes to that home game on Saturday, it is about a 20% chance. It's going to be a little bit cloudy, but pretty conditions, and it's going to go a little bit back into some scattered showers on the next week. So I'm going to transition over to Genevieve for a bigger look across Florida.
Absolutely, Jessica. So you were talking about that rain that is coming into the Big Bend region, but that rain is also going to cover a good amount of Florida. The front will not reach down all the way to the south, I believe, but for the majority of central Florida upwards, we will be seeing some form of rain. The area cameras are looking pretty nice in Orlando. FSU Res, as Jessica just pointed out, quite cloudy. Miami, some sun. But St. George Island, here we are ahead of the front, some really muggy conditions, cloud cover, not exactly ideal. And for the temperatures for the whole state, we are missing some data, but you know the gist. At this point in the year and today, it's really, it doesn't seem like fall, does it? We're into the 80s. I see down in Miami, 85 degrees. Tallahassee's sitting at 80, so lower 80s, I'm sure we could be getting up to the upper 70s, which really not ideal. It's late October, and seeing those temperatures isn't ideal. But the dew points are another thing that's not ideal either. We have ahead of that cold front, so right in front, we have really, really humid air, so really high dew points. It feels quite humid outside, so protect the hair, ladies, if you can. That satellite is going to show us the clouds grazing through the Big Bend region, and the green showing us the storms that are going slowly through southern Georgia and going to grace us here in Tallahassee just overnight and into tomorrow. But if you are down south in Miami, it's pretty much the same story all the way through the rest of your weekdays for this week. We have into the upper 80s, so standard Miami weather. If you are further north into Tampa, I'd say it's pretty much the same. We're looking into the upper 80s and slightly cloudy with about 10 to 20% chance of rain for the next 3 days. And Orlando, I'd say pretty humid conditions going to Disney, though it's much nicer in my humble opinion than last week where we're freezing on the rides. You get wind in your face, that's not ideal. Wind burn in the cheeks possibly. Jacksonville, it will be stormy tomorrow, so keep your umbrella handy. And for Pensacola, we're going out into the Panhandle. It's looking quite beautiful, and they are going to be seeing those temperatures dip slightly lower as that cold front just brings the temperatures down just a little bit. But for tonight's temperatures, we will be seeing into the upper 60s and going through down to Key West, where it's the warmest in the state. 75 degrees, not ideal. That future radar, again, is going to grace through the state, going through Jacksonville, going through Tallahassee, and further into central Florida, and is going to bring just a good amount of rain. Nothing too crazy, but I will say keep your umbrella on hand at all times. And those temperatures aren't going to give us much relief either. We have those upper 80s for tomorrow's highs. And Evan, are these temperatures going to continue for the southeast? What are we seeing?
Well, we're going to see that cold front that you mentioned earlier sweep through the southeast, and right now you can see some of the places actually have seen the effects of this. Actually, Charlotte, North Carolina is sitting at 61 right now, so that's very cool, relatively speaking, throughout much elsewhere in the southeast. Other places are sitting in the middle 70s like Atlanta and Mexico Beach, and the cameras actually look pretty good right now, but not everywhere. Further off to the west in Alabama, we're dealing with those showers and thunderstorms. I'll cover that here in a second, but throughout much of the southeast, you can actually see where that cold front is right now. It's right about here, and behind it, look how much cooler the temperatures are. Upper 60s, upper 50s in Little Rock, Arkansas, but elsewhere in front of it, we're in the upper 70s and lower 80s. So it's much more warm and humid in front of it, much cooler and drier behind it. And you can see that here on the dew points. Very sharp gradient here cutting through the Mississippi-Alabama border. Those greens are the moisture being advected northward from the Gulf of Mexico, making it feel much more humid out ahead of that cold front. And then behind it, you can see much cooler, drier air, much more comfortable behind that. So we'll get in on that tomorrow here in Tallahassee. But again, you can see that on the water vapor, that dry, rusty color there, that brown color, is the drier air behind the front. And you can actually see some of the convection associated with some of those storms along that cold front here in Alabama, and we'll track that here on the radar in a second. But first, the wind speeds. Again, you can see where that cold front is right now, the moisture being advected northward ahead of it, and then that will usher in a northwesterly breeze tomorrow behind the front here in Tallahassee with a nice cooler, drier air, more comfortable for us here in Tallahassee. But in terms of active alerts, it looks like we had a tornado watch up earlier here in southern Alabama. That seems to have been dropped by the Storm Prediction Center. And then we also have wind advisories behind the front because we are so windy and gusty. So make sure you just secure any loose objects around your home because those can get blown away easily with those gusty winds out there. But there is that line of storms working its way through central Alabama right now. That'll work its way eastward as we go forward in time here this evening, overnight tonight, and early tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, it should clear the coast here in the southeast. But this is actually beneficial rain because we're dealing with somewhat of a drought here in the southeast. But there is our day one outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, a slight chance for central Tennessee, also much of Alabama, and then a marginal risk including Atlanta, Georgia, and then just missing out on Tallahassee. But we're still going to get some good storms nonetheless, some beneficial rain, even though it is spotty in some places. But Atlanta, you'll deal with those showers and storms tonight, so just be aware of that if you're heading out early tomorrow morning. But the next 3 days do look good after that, sitting in the mid-60s tomorrow, so nice and comfortable. And we're actually dipping down into the middle 40s tomorrow night, so very comfortable out there in terms of my taste coming from New York. But there's that front sliding off to the east, and again, by tomorrow, it should be sitting off the east coast, not bringing any bother to the southeast. The lone exception, though, maybe some pop-up showers here in the peninsula of Florida, but nothing too crazy in terms of rainfall. But as for tonight, you can see how much colder we are behind the front. Middle 40s for much of the western portions of the southeast here in Louisiana and Arkansas. Warmer ahead of the front, and then tomorrow looks like a nice comfy day. Less humid than today, only sitting in the lower 70s, upper 60s there. Places to the west, sitting in the lower 80s further to the east. But now we're going to pass things off to Genevieve to get a broader look at our national forecast. How are we looking, Genevieve?
So let's say we're looking rainy. Temperature-wise, it's all right for fall. Like I said, late October, and here in Tallahassee, 80 degrees. The coldest I'm seeing on this map is up in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, 50 degrees. So really, it's staying dry and cooler towards the west, which we normally see here. Those dew points are going to show you that all the brown as well as the beige white color is where the drier air is, the chapstick kind of air, we'll say. And ahead of that cold front, let's play the game. Oh, spot the cold front. Oh, there it is. You got it. Ahead of the cold front is the really humid air. So we'll see that dark green reach up to southern Alabama as well into the Big Bend region, right at home. And that upper level water vapor is going to follow that. So it's really going to highlight the storms that we're seeing all in the blue and the white. And then we see that sharp line of moisture right behind it following the brown and black colors. Now that surface map is going to show us that front. Now that front isn't just covering us here in the southeast, but we see where the low pressure system is focused really right here above that, northern into the Great Lakes of Michigan. They're going to be seeing some rain. As you see right here, a lot of rain. I'm sure some showers popping up through the rest of the day. And high pressure, thankfully, focused primarily out west, but we normally see that kind of weather at this time of the year. Now, if we're looking into the northeast and really further into New England, we're going to look into Boston. We're seeing some storms now, but those storms are really going to pop up in the next day as a coastal low is covering that area, so really bringing a lot of rain to the area. So I don't know, if you're eating your seafood outside, you might want to take that inside. I know that's a popular thing up there. Yep, up there. So that rain is going to follow. Here we have the European model showing the rainfall for the next 3 days. There in Bangor, Maine is where we're seeing up to 1.5 inches, and then for the rest we're seeing just slightly smaller amounts of rain as well. Grand Rapids and Traverse City, Michigan, you are going to be seeing a good amount of rain as well, as described by that low that was draping all the way through that eastern part of the country. And with that rain, we're going to be hopefully getting some relief to the dry, but not quite moderate. Here we'll get further into Kentucky, the moderate risk for drought that we have. So that will hopefully give some relief. But where the rain really is focused into the northeast and the southeast, we really don't need that, do we? The drought is pretty nice because we get rain so often. So it's really not going to where we need. Again, we'll show that Midwest radar where we'll see going through Chicago. If you are in the Windy City, I would suggest to go right on home, turn up that AC, because you're getting quite a lot of rain right now. So if you're on your drive home from work, or maybe grabbing a slice of pizza, maybe try to make your way back home as fast as possible. That's also going to grace through the western portion of Michigan as well. So all you Michiganders, get inside. Our active alerts, we're going to zoom right on over to the Pacific Northwest, everyone's favorite cottage core location, where we'll see some winter weather alerts actually into fall. We'll see that winter weather advisory, and zooming out, we see that rain following. Active alerts, let's go on right on into Alaska, where we're getting also some winter storm warnings, which is very important. Now, Evan, what are we seeing in the tropics? I know we have some areas to watch.
Well, up until now, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, you might be saying, well, the tropics are like sweet nothing right now. There's nothing going on. But we're actually starting to see a little bit of a sign of change of that coming in the future here. There are a couple areas to watch, but here we are on our storm list. The next named storm, if we do get it, would be Lisa. So, but again, after Hurricane Ian, we didn't really have a whole lot. We had Julia and Carl, but none of those were impacts to the U.S. So if you're Chandler Bing, you might be saying, well, could we be any quieter? Like, seriously. But in the Atlantic, there are a couple areas to watch. Only low chances from the National Hurricane Center of developing. So we'll zoom in on the two closest to home. This northern one, just north of Bermuda, has a 20% chance of development from the National Hurricane Center over the next 5 days. It doesn't look all that impressive either. It's being sheared off to the north, and there's also some relatively cool ocean waters there, so it doesn't have a great chance of development. Similar story with this disturbance down to our south. It has a 30% chance of development over the next 5 days, and I don't really see those being major impacts to really anybody, besides perhaps Bermuda sitting right here in the Atlantic. So not a whole lot to talk about, but this one might be a little bit more interesting to watch because it has a more favorable environment that it's moving into, and also has a 20% chance of development over the next 5 days. However, even though that number may seem low now, it could increase over the coming days because, like I said, it is moving into the Caribbean and eventually towards Mexico, Honduras, and Nicaragua there. So those waters are much warmer than the Atlantic are right now. So it could be moving into a more favorable environment. You can see that here on our sea surface map. Those magenta colors here and that dark red color, those are temperatures sitting in the upper 80s in terms of sea surface temperatures, maybe even hitting 90 in a couple places. I don't think those aren't out of the realm of possibility now, but still very warm for this time of the year, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that chance go up in terms of development over the next couple days. But we'll keep an eye on it, so we'll keep you posted here on FSU Weather. There is that southern disturbance heading into the Western Caribbean. There's our invest up near Bermuda right now, spinning like a top right now. As you can see that upper level swirl there, so very, very pretty on that swirl. Won't be affecting anybody either. But just keep in mind that we are still in hurricane season, and it runs till the end of November. So make sure you update that hurricane kit and get that insurance checkup, Genevieve, because hurricane season, we can have some late season storms here, like Hurricane Sandy almost 10 years ago. But now we're going to take a trip out west, right?
Absolutely. So you're going with the Taylor Swift theme. I sense, Evan, now let's go into some weather that will make you want to put on a cardigan, one of my favorite songs. So our spotlight city, we will be going to my favorite state that I've never been to, Denver, Colorado. Now, what draws me, as well as everyone into this state, is the beautiful mountains. And some fun facts for you. Did you know that Denver is known as the Mile High City because it is 5,280 feet above sea level? So high elevation, might get out of breath, lungs might feel a little heavy, but is it all worth it? I would think so. Look at those views. I'm sure you're getting some great views up there on that mountain. It has an average of 300 days of sunshine. So beautiful weather, beautiful mountains, beautiful foliage. I don't see a single con about this city. And also, for you sports fans, I know Evan is a big one, it's home to 6 professional sports teams. So quite a lot going on in this beautiful city. Currently, 52 degrees. that is the cardigan weather that we sadly do not know all too well. But partly cloudy conditions, really, really nice. And those temperatures are going to follow for the whole Denver metro area. Here we see in Denver, 60 degrees. We have cloudy conditions following through the region, but we're really seeing into the upper 50s, feeling much more fall than what we see here. So satellite and radar, we'll see some clouds covering the Denver area, but really not too much rain. Passing just north of Grand Junction, you will be seeing some showers, so keep an umbrella handy if you are in that area. And for tonight, we're going to dip down quite low into some cold, cold temperatures, 37 there in Denver. And if you are going hiking out tomorrow, we will be seeing some really nice temperatures, really nice air, fresh, clean air, I would say. If you're in the city, somewhere like Miami, that air is non-existent. But that radar is just going to be bringing us lots of clouds throughout the region. And for the next 3 days, we'll be seeing those beautiful, beautiful conditions persist, except sadly, Thursday and Friday, we will be seeing some showers and rain. So Jessica, the lifestyle, if you want to take us back home, see what's going on locally.
Yes, I'm excited to look at the lifestyle that we have, especially with like the fall still continuing and even going into Halloween right now. So currently on Landis, it is a good 76 degrees. You could shake off that cardigan. So partly cloudy skies going from 11 miles per hour in the wind. So tonight in College Town, not the most ideal conditions with the thunderstorms going pretty late. So you may have to wait until a little bit later in the week to go. So if you go with that late night drive, I would suggest doing it before tomorrow morning. It is cool temperatures right now, but as mentioned before earlier in the show, with that cold front coming through, it is going to have some showers. So make sure to get that late night drive right now. Nothing too much report with Tallahassee, the delays. Nothing too much, at least with the traveling right now. So we can go on to the next part with the beach. At least fall right now, we can have pretty good, more ideal than I originally would have thought with the beach. But I would still say bring some sunscreen because I know some people who have gotten sunburned. So make sure to be prepared for the beach. So going with our women's soccer, it's going to be really good conditions compared to like earlier within this week. At Thursday at 71 degrees, so pretty comfortable weather. And that is going to continue for the Halloween show on Friday for the circus at 75 degrees. So going to be really cozy. With going into our farmers market, it may have a few chance of some showers, but there's going to be a lot of clouds dominating. So you may need to put on that cardigan that you had shaken off before. So with the 60s going a little bit into the 70s within the evening. And finally, we have another home football game. We're really hoping for a good comeback after these last few games. With 72 degrees, pretty much a lot of clouds are going to be happening, but with a little bit of chance of rain. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but may not. And going with our 4-day outlook, we have some stuff going on, at least with Wednesday with those showers at 40%. Is going to clear up within Tallahassee Thursday and Friday with a little bit chance of rain, very minimal. And then Saturday with the game is going to be a 20% chance. But at least within like this end of the week, if you want, make sure to enjoy this really good weather right now. If you want to go pick some pumpkins at least, I feel like this would be a very optimal time. So at least within the temperatures, make sure to be warm, but it's going to be a bit cool in the morning. So I'm going to transition it off to Genevieve.
Absolutely, Jessica. So really some rain to look into locally as we're going to see those clouds start to form where we'll see potentially some midnight rain getting into tonight. But currently it is 75 degrees, partly cloudy, and the winds are coming out of the southeast at 9 miles per hour. So cloud cover, quite muggy conditions outside, not necessarily that October weather we should be seeing, not feeling the folklore vibes at the moment. But the current temperatures for the region are going to be following those sadly into the 70s into the 70s temperatures, really not ideal. And those dew points into the 70s, talking about into the 70s for dew point, we will be seeing a really, really high humidity, as that dew point is telling us the amount of moisture in the air, and when it is close to the temperature, that's the closer you get to 100% humidity, so really not ideal conditions here in the Big Bend region. We do have minimal relief, as we see here in Tallahassee, winds coming out of the south at 9 miles per hour. Really, the only thing I should point out on this wind map is the 13 miles per hour in Thomasville, so if you are thinking about getting over to everyone's nearby cute little fun little city, now might be the time because it is a little bit better of conditions than here in Tallahassee. And that rain, we'll start to see some pop-up showers ahead of that cold front as we see gracing through southern Alabama, but the Tallahassee area currently not so much rain. For the lows, we will be seeing 68 degrees here in Tallahassee, and those temperatures will really persist into the overnight hours, getting up to 71 in St. Mark's overnight. Not the perfect weather. It's October 25th. Let's start picking it up. Tomorrow's high, speaking of picking it up, not gonna happen. St. Mark's, 80 degrees here in Tallahassee, 81 degrees. So like Jessica said, even when you're at the beach, I would recommend maybe putting some sunscreen on when you're here at home in Tallahassee. And boom, we just saw that future radar bring those storms through the region really quickly, and that's going to be occurring over tonight into tomorrow. So 77 degrees at that beach forecast that Jessica, I know she wants to head on out to the beach. And for your hourly tomorrow, we will be seeing some really, really warm conditions. And those warm conditions will persist, but we will be seeing some rain come through the forecast tomorrow as well as into Sunday. Now, Evan, let's bring us back home. Let's close it out, this beautiful show.
Yeah, that's right, Genevieve. As you said, we do have good weather after tonight. So this is beneficial rain because we have had a very dry October here in Tallahassee. So this rain is needed. So as much as we can get, we'll take, right? So we just have to make it through tomorrow morning. Then we have the rest of the week to relax, and we have that nice sunshine coming back for the later part of the week. And for Saturday, we will be cloudy for that football game, but that will not, the clouds may prevent you from getting a sunburn, which actually Jessica was mentioning that she knows somebody that got sunburned this weekend. That somebody was me. I went to the baseball game this weekend and I had shorts on, and you'd think that in October you can't get a sunburn, but you still can, because I realized afterwards that even though I had shorts on, there was part of my leg that was exposed, and the burn line from that was outrageous. So you can still get sunburn here in late October, so just keep that in mind if you're headed out to the beach. But in the meantime, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSUweather. You can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSUweather. And if you're not already, you can also watch us live on YouTube or any of our archives at youtube.com/FSUweather. And you can also like us on follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather to send us in any nice sunset pictures you may have, or pumpkin patch photos that you take this weekend. We always want to see those here, and you might just get them featured on the show. So make sure to send those in to us at any of our social media accounts. But for now, I'm student meteorologist Evan Regan. I hope you guys have a great week, and also pray for me because I have a partial differential equations exam tomorrow, so I'm going to need all the help I can get with that. So if anybody knows that, just let me know. But here's one last look at your 7-day forecast. Again, this is student meteorologist Evan Regan. Have a great week, everybody. Stay